What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new episode. This is the Reed DuPont Show, the RDS. We're in prime time rut, prime time deer season. I brought the antlers out, not these in particular. My antlers I use for rattle, just a clean, slick 8-point. Cut the brows off so I don't hit my thumbs when I'm rattling. Obviously, this is way too overboard. But man, we got a lot to talk about. Let me put these aside. And before Christmas, Time Rut is here. I've been down in South Texas for, guys, literally like 2 months now. We're just gonna do a quick little recap. We're gonna start from this past weekend. We got 6 bucks on the ground. Had a bunch of buddies down, got 6 bucks on the ground. An absolute freak of a low fence buck. Probably scored pretty close to 150. Freak of a low fence buck. And we got 5 other high fence bucks. 2 of them were absolute beasts. One was super heavy, lots of tines. He was like a 14-pointer. The other one was super wide. I believe he was a 10-pointer, tall tines, pretty buck. And we also got some of those management bucks that we had on our target list. We got them as well. So what a weekend last week. 6 bucks on the ground. We also got a doe on the ground, as well as we got 5 pigs and a javelina. We just went off. Didn't do much rattling. I did rattle one morning. We rattled in a little spike, but that was about it. We had a kind of little weird front because it did get cold, but it was like really wet, really foggy. So I think it kept a lot of these deer when I was rattling in the morning, just kept them bedded up and whatnot. But the week before that, I went rattling. I was there for a couple days that weekend before. Rattled in 5 bucks. Literally insane, guys. I was hitting horns. I walked like, gosh, maybe 1,000 yards up and around through this draw over to this food plot. And, I would start by rattling super soft like this. Right, just rattling super soft, seeing what was coming in the area. Immediately had a buck show up at 10-point. I was able to rattle them in about 50 yards, watch them walk all the way in along this sendero. Kind of walked up and around, hit the horns again, did some of this stuff on the back. Rubbed it up against a couple brushes, tree brush limbs and whatnot. Had a big buck come in, buck we call heart shape. Literally probably like 5 yards away. He was right behind this bush. Crazy experience. Then I went to this draw, rattling again, rattling, and I rattled in 3 more bucks coming hauling ass around the corner. Like, I thought I was gonna get gored. Like, it was getting a little scary, these bucks coming in. 2 of them we were gonna take them. My buddy was with me, we got a bow. Couldn't get a shot off, angle was kind of tough with the tree limbs and whatnot. But Rut's still hitting hard. I got all my trail cameras up, and I see these bucks. They're nowhere interested in corn or anything like that. They got their head down like this, and they're chasing. They're chasing. So it's a great time of the year. If you've never experienced it before, it is something that you need to go stop what you're doing right now and go into the woods, get some horns, and start rattling, because it's an experience like no other. It gets your heart beating when you got those deer coming flying in from 100, 200, 300 yards away, and next thing you know, they're right next to you. Crazy experience. So with all that being said, where are we right now? Week before Christmas. I'm possibly heading down this weekend. It's supposed to be hot, guys. It's supposed to get up to like 80 again. So I'm like, oh man, should I just wait? Should I just wait till Christmas and then go down and just, grind it out 3 weeks in January? I'm debating. It's supposed to be 80. I really want to go down, but if it's going to be 80, I don't want to sit in sweat. So we're going to see what we do there. Also, the rut's probably going to slow down a little bit because we're hitting towards that end peak. Probably got about 2 to 3 weeks left, and then it's just when it gets hot like that, it kind of slow down in terms of the rut. But I want to show y'all some trail cameras, some pictures that we've been coming in. Let's just start on the low fence side. Let's throw some pictures up. Guys, the hogs have been absolutely crazy, almost automatic. I've got a feeder that goes off at So it goes off in the morning at like 6, then it goes off again at like 4 in the afternoon. And then I do prime time hog sits. So I'll have that feeder go off around like, I got it right now, sorry, it changes all the time. 8 p.m. 8 p.m., that feeder goes off. So, you know, we're done with that evening hunt, come back to the lodge, we can relax, have dinner or whatnot. And then I got my trail cam that sends straight to my phone. Oh, I'm eating dessert and I look at my phone and the pigs are there. So me and my buddies or whoever the heck I'm with, we'll hop in the truck, ride right down there, and we'll stop about 100 yards out, and then we'll walk the rest, and then guys, we'll set up on tripods, and it's a blast. The hogs, as good as the hunting season, deer season has been, the hogs have been the star of the show this year, I would say. They've just been so automatic. There's been some absolute giants. We shot a 300-pounder. We got a 300-pounder earlier in the season, and it's just been a lot of fun. We've got all the thermals out. Literally last week, we had 3 tripods, 3 guys, 3 thermals, and then we had a guy on a spotter as well. It was insane. We got 4 hogs in that one little blind right there. So the hogs have been crazy. I mean, they're showing up in the daylight. They're daylighting. They're showing up at night. It's been fun. Turkeys. That's a whole nother thing. If you know me, you know I love turkey season. Now I don't hunt my turkeys in December. I wait till the spring when I'm calling them in, they're fanning out and whatnot. I really don't try to take a bird in December or just in the fall months when they're coming to corn. It's just not the same experience. If I'm gonna take a turkey, I prefer doing it, calling them in with my shotgun or my bow or whatnot. So this is just, just seeing what we got in terms of count, in terms of hens and gobblers and whatnot. And I'll just throw some pictures up right now. Guys, I know most of these are hens, but guys, there are some turkeys. I've also sat in a couple spots, and I've been glassing, and there's some big toms, guys. Freaking beards dragging on the ground. I'm fired up. I think what happened is we had all that rain over the summer. Y'all know about the floods and all that stuff. We had all that rain over the summer, kept these turkeys around. I think the hatch, when they were born, really helped with that rain, and now the numbers are just out of control. You never have too many turkeys, but there's a lot of turkeys. So very, very, very excited for this spring. This might be the best spring turkey season of all time coming up, just from what I'm seeing from numbers and whatnot. That being said, we are in February going to be putting up this is going to be like the first time ever prime, basically, go to turkey and axis spots. We're going to be setting up 3 or 4 new spots specifically for turkeys and axis. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, they're going to be ground blinds. Some will have some kind of feed. Some will have hay bales like alfalfa for these axis. And others will just be, spots to start at for these turkeys. We love to spot and stock and stuff like that, so we don't really in blinds, but we'll start in a blind and then kind of move out of that blind and start walking. So it's just kind of a good area to start out at. And we're gonna be doing that for the first time, so we're gonna get those set up in February for March, April, May. So that's gonna be very exciting. Turkeys look awesome. The axis, we'll show some pictures of the axis. We've got a couple winter axis right now that are hardhorn that they're beasts. But with that being said, the bucks in velvet, the summer bucks, they're bigger. Trust me, they're bigger. I can show you some videos. They're bigger, and we're gonna be going after those guys literally starting March, April, May, June, depending if you want a hardhorn or a velvet. They're going to be big, and we're going to be ready for them this year. Hoping to get one with my bow. We're getting an axis down this spring, 100%. So, from our low fence side, I didn't even get to the low fence bucks, guys. Like I said, we killed that. We got that 150-inch buck. There's some other giant 140-inch bucks. Just the whole low fence from big bucks, pigs, turkeys have been out of control, and it's just been awesome. And then the axis has been great as well. We got some more axis. And we're actually going to be getting some more axis does here, hopefully in January, about 15 to 20 more, just to get the population up some more. So that's great from that side. Everything looks awesome. Now, since we got like a month left of deer season, we're trying to get, it'd be nice to get some more bucks on the ground. We stopped taking our does. We hit that Thanksgiving mark. That's when we stopped taking does. We just really focused on management bucks and old mature trophy bucks. And as y'all saw from this past weekend, 6 bucks on the ground. We hit it hard. We're gonna have to do that some more. We got some more buddies coming down, and hopefully we can get them on some deer. I'm still looking to get on a deer. If y'all saw my YouTube video, I had drawn back on a deer, perfect shot. Oh my God, I don't want to get into it, flashback on it. But I'm still looking for a deer myself. There is a beast that I have been eyeing, very wide. I call him the Oaks buck because he hangs out under the oaks. We have these big oak trees, and that's where he's been hanging out. Let's throw some photos of him. Y'all can see what he looks like. Big frame, wide, massy buck. He's got it all. And if you know me, I love wide bucks. And that guy just, he's everything you could ask for. So we may be going after him. Maybe. He's been going to the food plot recently where I just put this new blind up. So we'll see what happens in January or Christmas time. But he's definitely, I've been eyeing him. I've been eyeing him on the side. For sure. I just want to talk with y'all real fast. If you're having trouble finding a buck, getting a buck on the ground, we're getting towards the end of the year here. Get out, rattle some horns. It doesn't hurt. Don't make your whole morning hunt around it, but after your morning hunt, go rattle for an hour or two. Around that, 9:30 to 11, especially on a cold day, guys, when it's overcast. These deer are going to be moving all day. When it's very cold, they got to get up and move. They got to eat to keep their bodies warm. So you getting out there and rattling is going to make a big difference. I guarantee it. There's deer. Guys, I have a prime example. I can throw a buck up. There's deer that, to this day, I've had cameras out since August that I have never seen before. This deer right here is just living proof, a prime example. I've never seen this deer in person. This is the first time I've seen this deer on a trail cam, a super wide buck. This is a different buck than the one I'm eyeing at, by the way. And first time I've ever seen him. He came out. I haven't seen him since. But guys, getting out there and rattling, getting out there, trying new spots out. Maybe you've been sitting at a stand all year. Try it out. Get on Google Maps. Figure out maybe there's a spot where these bucks are hanging out that you can get. You can get a tree stand in there or whatnot. The time's now. You got a month left here in Texas. I don't know what your state is, depending on what days you got left. But if you're going to make a move, the time to make a move is now. Right before Christmas. Make that move now. Take the risk, and hopefully you get the reward. So. If that's what I got in terms of, my recommendation towards y'all. So I just want to talk about a couple of the hunts some of the prime hunts that we had this season. This past week, I was hunting with this guy. We were hunting this big food plot. It's got turnips, radishes, winter peas in it. And we had this buck on our target list, but we were kind of waiting him out. I actually had I had this buck 10 yards from me in a bow blind on the northern side of our food plot. Earlier in the season. But this buck came in, we were eyeing him. If he showed, we were going to take him. If he didn't, it wasn't a big deal. He ended up showing. And this buck came in about 300 yards. It was windy, guys. It was a really windy day. I'm not even lying, 20-mile-per-hour winds. And it was when this cold front was coming in. And I was with this guy. It was his second time ever hunting, right? I asked him, we should probably get this buck in closer. I told him basically we should probably get this buck in closer. Second time hunting, the wind's blowing 20. Let's get him closer. As I said that buck within 10 minutes started walking right into that food plot, and he jumped from 300 yards to 150 yards within 10 minutes. And next thing you know, we were up on him, and he was moving around because there's some other deer around, but we had a good angle on him. And about 30 minutes before sunset, knocked him on the ground. It was an awesome experience for him. That was his second buck ever. That was his biggest buck of all time. He's actually getting a shoulder mount on it. So that was an awesome hunt. That same food plot, the day before, I went with this buddy, different guy, and we were just kind of seeing what was in the area. That was my first time actually hunting this food plot from this big tower stand. And this big white horn, no brow, I want to say he was a 10-point, popped up real early, about 100 yards. Me and him were glassing. We're like, man, does this buck have brows? Does this buck have brows? Because if a buck doesn't have brows that detects whitetails, he's gone. So we're glassing him. We're like, man, has he got brows? Does he have brows? And we couldn't see if he had brows or not. Next thing you know, this buck, well, what actually happened, we were using binos. And so I said, man, dude, Chaz was his name. Get your rifle up, get on the scope, because the scope's got a better power than these binos, and see if you can see those brows through your scope. As he gets that thing up there, that buck gets on that doe and just hauls off. I'm like, bruh, like, really? Like, now you got to do that? He hauls off chasing this doe. I'm like, man, whatever. It's still early. It's whatever it is. Next thing you know, 10, 15 minutes later, he wraps around, comes on the back side of the food plot, like 300 yards away. We're like, oh, there he is. And he was pretty easy to tell because he had those white horns. He was like, oh, man, there he is. We're glassing him again. Man, I don't think he's got brows. Next thing you know, he chases this doe in a good 150 yards, kind of like that other buck I was just talking about, that story. And there's this one big tree that's right in the middle of the food plot. And he walks behind that tree, and he gets in a mix with a bunch of black buck does, and they're like, man, we're ready for him to come out on that back side of that tree. Or, you know, he's in the food plot about 150 yards. This buck doesn't come out. We're like, where the heck did this buck go? We see these black buck moving through and all this stuff. We're like, where did this buck go? Like, did he just disappear? Did he vanish? Little do you know, he was just standing behind that tree for a good 10 minutes. And that was, by the way, that's the only tree. I had cleared this whole area out so that you could see into this food plot. I left that tree on purpose. That's the only tree I left. And that's the tree he ended up standing behind. Like, of course, dude. Like, really? Of course. He ends up popping out on the other side. And he does his little loop, and he comes in with about 170 yards. Bam! Hits him, runs about 30 yards and crashes. It was awesome. But I was like, man, that one tree that I left. I was like, of course. But that food plot produced some giants. There's been a lot of big deer in there. I sat in the ground one day, and guys, there was like 30 deer in the food plot. It was a lot of deer. So those are just two stories I want to tell y'all. From this past weekend that were like, man, these food plots are getting it done. Detex Whitetails and Exotics, we are officially open to book a hunt. If you're interested in booking a trip, go to actually message Detex Whitetails or Reed DuPont on Instagram or Facebook. Message us and we'll get a trip booked up for you. We got limited spots left in January, and then obviously we got, you know, all the spring for turkeys, axes, black buck, all those exotics. And then booking for next year as well. 2026 is the first time we're going to be booking for 2026. So if you're interested in booking a trip with us down in South Texas, Derby, Texas, send us a message either on Detex Whitetails or Reed DuPont. I can send you all the information, our website, and get you booked up and get you on a buck of a lifetime. So I appreciate y'all watching the episode. We should possibly get another episode before Christmas. If not, we'll get one right before New Year's or during New Year's. So I hope you all having a great holiday. If you're brand new, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe, and I'll see y'all on that next podcast. Peace!